Welcome to Tamar Bowling Video Ball Reviews. If you like what we do, please support us by joining our Patreon page. I want to thank Limerick Bowl for their support. If you're in the area, don't forget to visit Limerick Bowl in Limerick, Pennsylvania. A big thank you to Jeff Miller and Ron Hoppy. Don't forget to check out Haley's Pro Shop in Burlington, Washington for world-class drilling and coaching. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're testing the new Columbia 300 Outlook. First impressions, if this is the outlook on the Columbia 300 lineup post-Brunswick acquisition, then the brand is in good hands. I know, silly pun. Nevertheless, I feel comfortable with that statement. The Outlook seems to bring to the table exactly what they advertised. They've created a new cover called the Exciter Max. I have to assume there's a substantial element of the formulation related to Columbia 300's Kentucky factory formula with some Brunswick additives, processes, whatever. What I can say is it does feel familiar enough to what we've seen from previous Exciter covers, namely on the Chaos, Chaos Black, Savage, Savage Life. If you aren't familiar with the Columbia 300 brand characteristics, they're surprisingly capable of strong angle. Brunswick has done a great job keeping the Outlook in the same vein. The Exciter Pro was on the very angular Savage Life, if you recall. The new Outlook core goes about generating angle a little bit differently than the Chaos or Savage cores. This uses those use low RGs, and the Outlook uses a medium RG. I mean, it's a fairly simple shape. Regardless of all those technicals, the bottom line is the ball really does feel like a symmetrical Savage Life. It does feel like it gets reasonable length without difficulty. Being finished with a Crown Factory compound here, I believe, helps the ball motion have a little more grip than the typical Powerhouse Factory finish. The Outlook has plenty of back end. It's not to say it's extremely sharp, but it is very angular. It's the kind of motion that clearly has the potential to be a house shot killer. For James, it was that, angular and very continuous. James tested on the 2019 USBC Team Open Championships pattern. This is a 38-foot pattern. What's clear is this is definitely not a ball for early on in a block. Its clean and angular look means it's way too over-under for such a condition. However, we spent some time with a few games burned in, and here's where the ball does have a decent look. You can see how touchy the pattern is from the outside, but as soon as James gets in nearer to the fourth arrow after there's a little burn, the ball looks pretty good. This 38 pattern has hook, but when you start opening up your angles, you want a ball that gives you a consistent reaction. And this really looked reasonable, if not maybe a touch over-under. Final thoughts, given that the Outlook feels like your house shot killer type of ball and is reasonably priced, value should be an A. A on the house shot is also quite easy. For a sport shot, this felt like it would be tougher to use, but you need to wait for later on in the block for sure. Ultimately, the strong hooking motion will make a lot of bowlers' eyes light up, and this fits nicely into the Columbia 300 lineup. If you don't want to miss any of our reviews, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button.